Guess what we're talking about?
I wonder what we're talking about. All right. We are dressed and ready to go. Awesome. I guess I need a microphone. Is your phone in place?
Yep.
Move it closer to where you're going to be. You got to move it closer to where you're going to be. Otherwise, we're not going to pick you up and no one's going to know. Wow.
There you go.
All right. I am excited. We are excited. We have prepped a lot this part of the show.
As always, Skybatters, jump in with your comments. Courtney is here.
Excellent. Hello, Courtney. Woohoo.
Hey, guys.
I got a message from Meredith that she's in Epcot today, so I don't know if she'll pop in. But I'm very glad to see Courtney. Hi, Courtney.
I think she's got to set her priorities, doesn't she?
Wow. What a do. We got the finale, AHSOKA.
And I'm guessing whoever's watching all seen this.
Yeah.
Because, we need a banner.
We need a little banner spoiler.
We'll be saying it.
Give me a moment.
Again and again that there will be a spoiler.
Yes. A series. Just spoilers for the whole series, right?
Finale.
Okay. Finale. This is hard to do one-handed. Okay.
Is that going to scroll through? Oh, there you go.
Yes, it does. Scroll across the bottom. How cool is that? Welcome, buddy. So yeah, I'm going to record the other half of our show. Our show is going to be kind of like a big show in 2 parts.
We had lots of things we share.
Yeah. Yay. All right, so should we get into it then?
So apparently Dick Van Dyke shouldn't have visited Disneyland the same week AHSOKA's going to... Mr. DVD, come on, plan ahead.
DVD. That's so funny. Okay, well, are we ready?
We are.
This? Okay.
Yep.
Are we syncing?
Yes.
With the clap.
Very important.
Okay, 1. Is that better?
Much better.
All right, while we are into this, please share your thoughts on the AHSOKA finale in the comments because we'd love to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay. If you reached out with the Force as the AHSOKA finale began, you could hear millions of voices fall to a hush as we all waited to see what was to become AHSOKA, Sabine, Hera, Ezra, Thrawn, Baylan, and the Night Sisters.
So join us as we dive into this 8th episode, a finale episode titled The Jedi, the Witch, and the Warlord, written by Dave Filoni, directed by Rick Fumiyawa. All right, are you ready to start unpacking?
I am, but remember, as with any of our episodes on something, there will be spoilers.
Major spoilers. All right, should I go first?
Yeah, so, okay, are we going to share kind of some thoughts?
We'll share
we'll go through
tons of thoughts.
Yeah, we watched it twice now, made notes, made musical notes. We prepared a whole bunch for this show. So go ahead, you go first.
As an overall thought, I would say being the final episode, I thought I would need to buckle in since this would be moving at the speed of light. However, as long as you held on loosely, then you could really stay with the episode. All right, meaning so much story happened in this that meaning with so much story, the episode took its time, which isn't a bad thing.
No.
All right. So
as a season, like you're grumbling about it.
As a season finale, they move really fast, but this one was very slow. But it needed to go slow because there was a lot to unpack with all these characters. Now it was much slower than I expected, but that's on me. So I can't say I didn't like it because it was really slow. It didn't have the expectations of going really rapid fast. Because like I said, there were so many things it needed to tie up. But then you realized, okay, it's not going to tie up everything because there's a much bigger movie to come. which is going to tie up everything.
Right. Okay.
Now, I really wished I knew more about the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe going into this, just because they would give me a hint of what was to come. Now, I don't know if it's going to parallel Narnia, but seeing how Dave Filoni has taken Narnia stories like The World Between Worlds and added them into Ahsoka, is that just a fun reference, or are these episodes paralleling Narnia? Now,
Okay.
I have no background on Narnia other than I saw that first movie back in like what 2005.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Well, you're in luck because I read all the things.
Oh, then take it away.
And I do have to say that I don't think Ahsoka is a direct reference to the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I think what Filoni is doing, and you can see it everywhere in names, in uses of animals, and things like that. He is basically modeling Ahsoka on what George Lucas did to create Star Wars. That is, he plucked different mythological constructs and used them to create Star Wars. Dave Filoni is doing the exact same thing. You have Shin and Skull, which are based, those are wolf names in Norse mythology. So he's plucked those names and used them for Balin Skull and Shin Hati.
I get that. I get that. However, on a deeper level, other than just naming names, like this is the story title. This is the episode title.
Yes.
So is this episode, is it mirroring The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, or is it just a fun play on words?
I think a little bit it is mirroring it in that, so the Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is the first novel in a series of Narnia novels. And what it is Narnia is a far-off land that has been taken over by an evil witch and plunged into a permanent winter. So already you're seeing parallels to this far-off galaxy, and that's, you know, ruled over by these three witches.
Okay.
Right? And it's not necessarily plunged into a permanent winter, but they're basically, it's this mystical land that tales have been told about it. So just like Balin has been told stories in the Jedi Temple about this land. So that's a parallel. Also, in the...
Now what happened at the end of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe?
Well, I'm getting to that. Okay. So The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is what it's called, that book. Well, you have this episode is called The Jedi, the Witch, and the Warlord, right? So what it is, so let's see. So 4 kids in... Well, yeah. So in the Chronicles of Narnia, 4 kids arrive to this mystical land, Narnia, by going through a magic portal in a wardrobe while playing hide and seek.
Okay, so far we see the parallels to this super extra hyperdrive.
Exactly. And the lion in here is, his name is Aslan, and he's basically the kid's Jedi master guide in this strange land. And at the end, he also becomes this Jesus figure because he basically sacrifices himself and is killed by the witch to save the kids. But then, like, the next day, he's resurrected.
Okay, so I'm not looking for exact parallels because why would they do that? Because then it'd be very predictable.
Yeah.
But I can see the very loose parallels, which is very exciting.
So the lion, you know, he's like that Jedi Jesus figure. Well, that's like the Jedi. And then the witches, the same. And then the wardrobe or the warlord. So
I see the lion as being more like Thrawn.
Well, no, Thrawn, the lion is good.
Right, but once again, very loosely paralleled. We don't need exact parallels. Or do you see the lion being Ezra?
No, I see the lion being Ahsoka.
Okay.
Yeah, Ahsoka. She's like the Jedi master guide to the kids, like Ezra and Sabine, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah. So, also, Ahsoka with the guidance of her master. Anakin.
Yeah. And I know this isn't meant to be exact mirrors,
right?
So the Jedi could be talking about Ezra and Sabine, and the lion could be Ahsoka. So you know what, art in the make of meaning. That's what it comes down to.
Yes, indeed. And I do have to say I love this title, The Jedi, the Witch, and the Warlord. I want to say wardrobe so bad.
Yeah, I know.
Because it's just so fantasy, and you know the Narnia Chronicles of Narnia are fantasy novels. And this is really calling out the fact that Ahsoka is on the fantasy side of Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the other series, Andor was very much the realism side of Star Wars.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah, so it's really cool.
All right, so there was a lot of fantasy in that, which, yeah, you're right. Andor isn't about the fantasy.
No.
But this is all about the fantasy, the witches, the zombies.
Yes. So should we talk about this? The witches and the zombies?
All right, hold on.
Okay.
Will this guy chat is like saying exactly what I was thinking. I think you're overthinking the analogy. Yes, exactly. That's the point we're trying to make in the long run. Not to overthink it, but just very loose.
It's loose. And like I said, I think Dave is doing a very good job of taking these mythological constructs from various cultures and dumping them all in one thing, which makes it seem even more mythical and fantastical.
Okay.
That's the main point, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we nailed that one into the ground. All right. So zombies. Let's talk about these zombies. Now, the one moment I secretly wanted to see was the resurrection of the night troopers, who we knew were going to be zombies. Now, with that said, I hate zombies. I don't like zombie movies, zombie shows, but every once in a while, like with The Last of Us, like, okay, I like the idea behind that. And zombie troopers, all right, you know what? I'm into this. It was very, very eerie, but I wanted to see these zombie troopers move more like the undead, like the corpses were struggling to be reanimated, and it kind of looked like some of the troopers were like, oh, hold on, I gotta get up. Okay, there we go. And I wanted to see more of that kind of crickety look within them. However, I did get the chills when they first started to flinch and the light behind their helmets glowed green. The eyes were glowing green. Yeah, that gave me chills. Yeah,
me too. There was that one moment where you got a close up of one of the zombie troopers who was just cut down by, I think, Ezra, and then it's a close up of his face and the green glowed again, and you're like, whoa.
Now I love that because it was so Michael Myers.
Oh, interesting.
So how he just sits straight up without using his hands to get himself up like this, and I like that. I wish there were more of that.
Okay. Well, I feel like because these zombie troopers are magicked into existence by the witches, I am all for it.
Oh,
I don't
know
too. What it is about witches, but I love the witches. We just watched Hocus Pocus 2 last night. Yeah, so I'm just so into witches right now. It just makes me so excited.
Oh, and plus
that witches are in Star Wars.
The Night Sisters?
Yes, the Night Sisters, which for me is a huge deep cut. I mean, I read The Courtship of Princess Leia back when I was like 12 or 13, you know, it was very, like, they really imprinted on me, these Night Sister witches.
Oh, and they were great in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Because they used the Force, but with them, it was more magic. And we saw a whole different side. It wasn't just Force users and non-Force users, the good and the bad. Here we have the Night Sisters, and they're their own entity.
Now, what's interesting is in the Clone Wars, the Night Sisters were led by one witch, Mother Talzin. But here you have the three witches, and they always come in threes. Whenever Dave Filoni puts them in a scene, or Rick Fumiyawa, you know, they're always the three together. And so I feel like when the three witches offered Morgan Elsbeth witch powers, I was a little concerned by that, because that would make four witches, and witches come in threes.
There's hierarchies. I think there's, there's like the Mother Talzin character, and then you have the three witches below her. And I think there's that kind of tier level where when Morgan was made into more of a definite Night Sister, she was not on the same level as the three witches.
Well, I don't know about that. My point is, when she was offered that, I got a little scared for her, or the witches, which turned out to be a valid point. But how cool was that flaming green sword that she got? It kind of reminded me of the Maleficent dragon, how that dragon, her her witch power is green, that same kind of acid green, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then she's killed by the sword, which is the good, but it just all made me think of Maleficent a lot.
All right, that's the Blade of Talzin. You want
Yes!
a little deep dive
Yes,
on,
I do.
on this? All right, I was going to save this for the Easter eggs.
Oh, okay.
But you know what? Let's go into it now since you brought this up. All right, now, the Blade of Talzin. This was last seen in the Clone Wars episode, The Disappeared Part 2. Now, do you recall this episode?
You'd have to give me a one-liner.
All right, I'll get more than a one-liner because you can't sum up this in one line.
Okay.
This is the episode where Jar Jar Binks' girlfriend, Queen Julia, she's abducted by the Frangal cult, and Talzin shows up and plans to use the planetary alignment to combine the Queen's spirit with her dark magic.
Yes.
That is until Mace Windu shows up and the two battle lightsaber on Blade. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, it was a great battle, and that was the one and only time we've ever really seen the Blade of Talzin.
Wow.
At the
was
end,
it flaming? Was it?
Oh
like
yeah,
green?
oh yeah, the green flame. Oh yeah,
sweet.
yeah. And then at the end of the battle, Talzin knew that she was defeated, so she just disappeared.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
that's
with
amazing.
the blade. So how did this get to these three mothers?
Well, they magicked it out of
right.
Like I think it just kind of it goes into the ether. You know how Loki like basically hides things in pocket dimensions around him, and he just pulls his knife out of nowhere? That's Mother Talzin's sword.
All right, you figure this would have more magical properties around it to keep that from happening. But I guess if you're in the Night Witch coven, then you can all do that. A
Night Sister can pull it out of their hair.
And I'm sure after Mother Talzin, spoiler alert, was killed, that she put this into the ether so it can be retrieved by other mother witches.
I think so. I think that's how it works.
Okay, all right,
yeah.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah,
but that's the history behind the Blade of Talzin. So when they said that, like, oh, Easter egg.
That is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, another thing I want to say about this episode, and I really like just the imagery in this Ahsoka series is just fantastic, and you can really read a lot into it, a lot more. So when Thrawn and the Night Sisters, you know, they're very much aligned right now, but I feel like they're using each other for the main goal of getting back to the Star Wars galaxy / Dathomir.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the main things about this, it's very visual. The witches are always doing things in threes, and you always see them, three of them on screen at the same time. There are several moments, especially in this finale, where you see the three witches on one side of the screen, and you see Thrawn either by himself or with Enoch. Yeah, the two. So the witches always do things in threes. Thrawn has done everything in twos. He has dispatched 2 troop transports. He's dispatched 2 ties. He's dispatched 2 squadrons. Like there's even that moment in this episode where, you know, they zoom in on his face, and then the 2 TIE fighters that are hooked behind him just like take off. So everything is in twos. Even the final scene of him and the Night Sisters, once they arrive at Dathomir and are looking out onto it, is the 3 sisters are in silhouette together, and then Thrawn and Enoch are a pair of silhouettes together. So I think this is foreshadowing like a rift between them. And also, when Thrawn bombarded the Night Sister fortress, that head Night Sister gave him a look. She ain't gonna forget that.
No. Oh no. Oh,
no.
So everyone is deceiving everyone else, but that's what you call the dark side.
Yeah. All right. Now, before we get into any story bumps, before we get into story like highs, can we read some of Courtney Turkell's comments here?
So in the Sky Chat.
Yes, Courtney is saying, I was kind of disappointed with this episode. I like some aspects, but for the director that we had, who is Rick Fumiyawa, I was expecting more action. I didn't like that they never came face to face with Thrawn. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but they have to hold on to that until the movie.
Yeah. She goes on, I liked that Ezra got home and reunited with Hera, but now we've lost Ahsoka and Sabine to the unknown world. I wanted more from Baylan and Hati, and nothing happened. So it was a finale without knowing. Okay. So Richard, did you have any like story bumps, or did you have any comments you want to bring up here?
Yeah, comment here. Kevin Weitzel. Hey guys.
Hey, Kevin.
Nick Werner. Hello there.
Aw. Oh, and Pierre Kelly as well.
And Pierre Kelly coming in with a hi, y'all.
Welcome, guys.
Yeah, so I really did like this episode. It took me by surprise because it was a little slower than I expected, but I love the pacing of these Disney Plus shows, whether it be the Star Wars shows or Marvel, because it's world building.
Right.
And we don't need to keep going action, 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 action. And I think coming up to the very end, you knew that we were not going to have a total tie up of everything. We weren't going to tie up Balin and Shin. We weren't going to tie up Ezra, Sabine, and Ahsoka. That was not going to happen.
Not in that one episode. That
No. And that became more and more obvious as the episode was going because, okay, you only have 10 more minutes. You got still a lot to cover. So at that point, you know how it's going to end, which is not that's being predictable, but because you don't know how it's going to end.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a couple of story bumps.
Okay.
All right. One of which I don't like it when characters suddenly appear. You have a long shot, the character's not there, cut into a close-up, and the character walks in from out of frame. It's like, no, that doesn't mean that no one else, just because the viewer can't see you, doesn't mean that no one else can see you. Like what I'm talking about at the end, when we thought Sabine was going to run and jump onto the Chimera and Ahsoka was left by herself. We never saw Sabine run and jump. So later on, when Ahsoka was being beaten by all the troopers, suddenly we see Sabine standing there. It was a great dramatic moment because now Ahsoka, she's got her apprentice with her.
Oh yeah,
Master and the apprentice.
And they're together, like Huang said.
However, where did she come from? Why didn't the night troopers see her there? She was standing right there out in the open, and there were troopers everywhere, even along the perimeter. So if she was standing behind one of those monoliths, you would have been able to see her. So that kind of thing just takes me right out of the show.
Okay.
And can I do one more?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Of course.
Another story bump came at the very end. When...
And this doesn't mean we don't like it.
No. Yeah. These are bumps that take you out of the episode and go, okay, you did it for a dramatic purpose,
right?
But for the sake of the viewers,
give us a little credit.
Give us a little credit for thinking these things through.
Right.
Like when Ezra came down the shuttle ramp at the very end, you see Hera and all the guards holding this trooper at gunpoint because the trooper comes down off the ramp out of the ship, and they're all holding their blaster at this trooper. Takes off his helmet, and it's Ezra.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So okay, great dramatic moment. I'm sure Ezra wanted his big reveal, but you would think Ezra would go, okay, if they see a trooper walking down the ramp of the shuttle, aren't they? There's a chance they may shoot me.
Yeah, right.
So what I would like to have seen is you see this figure walk down like Darth Vader's entrance in Return of the Jedi. You see him walking down the ramp. You see just his body, and the camera pans up to his head. I'd like to have seen that, but when the camera comes to his head, there's a big thing of mist that blocks, and the mist dissipates, clears. And you see Ezra.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, think about another Darth Vader moment in the carbon freezing chamber when all that mist comes up to Darth Vader's helmet and it dissipates, and you see this very awesome shot of Vader. I would have loved to have seen that.
I like that.
Because
you should have talked to Rick Fumiyawa about
that. He didn't call me. Rick, you know my number. We've talked before. So these are what I call story bumps because it bumps you out of the story.
I got it.
All right.
I have one.
Okay.
Is that okay? Yeah.
Sure. Okay, then I get one more other thing that I'd like to comment on.
Okay, well, I'll tell you my story bump was, by the end of the last episode, they have a ticking time clock, to get back to the Chimera and stop Thrawn from escaping to the previous galaxy. Well, they're in this time crunch, and yet you begin and you see Ahsoka's ship crawling along with the Noti, like just at their speed, which the ship can go much faster than that, while Ezra forms his lightsaber. And I mean, in the previous episode, he proved that he could fight without a lightsaber, so why didn't they just storm the castle right away? That's the little story hiccup for me.
Yeah, and those are the very slow moments.
Yeah.
That, okay, I know there's a lot of story to tell here, so let's just pick up the pace a little bit more and cut those
Right.
things down.
And it was a cool lightsaber that they made.
It was a very cool lightsaber. Yeah. The fact they kept name dropping Kanan.
I know.
I loved it. But anyone else watching this who's just a casual fan and may not have seen the animated shows,
right,
they're going to pause it and go, okay, now I can look up Wikipedia. Who is this Kanan? Who is this? But like we always say, these aren't shows you can just go in cold.
No.
That's not going to happen where you're going to walk into this and understand everything that's going on.
Now, DJ 5000 agrees with you about the reveal of Ezra. Yeah. I mean, they had every reason to shoot Ezra in full gear.
Exactly.
Yeah. Plus, wouldn't you want to get out of that ugly ass stormtrooper armor? Like, not ugly, but like, I'm sure it smelled. I'm sure it was old and cracked.
As I know, you can't sit in stormtrooper armor. So as Ezra's flying the ship, he's sitting down there going, "This is, you know what? Why am I wearing this?
Yeah, this is intolerable. Take it off." You should have just come in the stormtrooper, the black bodysuit underneath.
Yeah. And then how did Chopper know that was Ezra?
I don't know.
If Ezra had given him a little, "Hey, buddy," which is what he calls Chopper, or "Hey, Chop," something where Chopper could have gone over and go, "Wait a minute, I know that voice." All right. Now, once again, I was satisfied with the episode. A couple of story bumps withstanding.
Yeah.
But I missed the yell out loud moment.
Oh.
Like in the past, when we see Anakin Skywalker and the Clone Wars flashbacks, we were hooping and hollering and yelling. Neighbors were complaining. C-3PO was another big yell out moment when Hu Yang said, "A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away," we all screamed. And I was missing that one, I don't want to say fan service moment, but I really wanted to see a big fan service moment.
I feel like the troopers were kind of that moment for me. The zombie troopers.
Okay, well, think of it as a fan service moment. Like Hu Yang saying "a long time ago," it's fan service. Now, fan service, I love fan service. I love it because it's the filmmakers going, "Hey, fans, this one's for you." So, and a lot of people don't like it because they feel like we're being hit over the head. I don't ever feel like that.
You don't care.
No, not at all. Not at all. So I was missing maybe another cameo I thought we were going to get. Yeah, so I was just hoping for that one big woohoo moment where neighbors would start banging on our door again, telling us to quiet down.
Well, Sky Chatters, let us know, was there a moment for you in the finale that really...
Well, do an addendum on that, a fan service moment that made you go, "Oh, they recognize me as a fan."
Okay.
And give us that reference to something else, not just an Easter egg, but that character.
Okay.
All right. I'm done critiquing.
That's okay.
I'm not.
Let's go in. You're not? Well, let's go into what we love.
Critiquing can be good.
That's true. So let's go into things that we loved.
Which there's a lot.
There's a lot to love. So even though this episode did not seem slow to me. I don't know why. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. I love anything with Thrawn, because again, that reaches into my deep-seated fandom.
Sure. You get a whole collection of Thrawns in your office. Which kind of worries me.
I love him. I love him so much, and he is in top form here in this episode. Like some of the things he said, what he says to Morgan Elsbeth and him. We require a little more time, and he's not just saying that. He knows exactly what he's asking of Morgan is for her to stay behind. And her thing when she says for Dathomir, not just for the Empire, because Thrawn says for the Empire, and she says to herself for Dathomir, and the way she says that brought a tear to my eye. Like she was just so good in that moment. So I loved that moment. I have another thing that I want to bring up, but is there anything you want to bring up before?
That I loved?
Yes.
Oh, there's so much. Once again, it may have been a little bit slow, but I was enjoying every minute of it.
Oh yeah,
it was an episode that didn't feel like it had to rush to hit all these beats. It took its time, and yet by the end, we'll get to the end later on, and at the end we're like, okay, all right, I'm good to go. I'm now waiting for the Mandoverse movie.
Okay. All right. Well, there was another moment I loved, and this comes from Hu Yang. Am I saying that right?
Hu Yang, yes.
Hu Yang.
I think in the beginning I was saying Hu Wang, but
Oh,
it's Hu Yang.
because I think Ahsoka says it kind of that way in the first episode.
And I think that's why I was saying Hu
Yeah.
Wang.
Hu Yang. She doesn't quite say the yeah yes part. That, Yeah. So
that's why in
Hu
some of
Yang.
my notes I had to really emphasize the Y and Hu Yang.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, even though it was part of the slow part, when Hu Yang and Ezra are building his lightsaber, there is a really neat, very meta moment when Ezra is asking Hu Yang, "How old are you?" And Hu Yang says, "Old enough to know that the relationship between a master and apprentice is as challenging as it is meaningful." And to me, this seems very meta, almost as if Filoni wrote this to himself because he was apprenticed under George Lucas, and now he is the master creating this series. Like, this is one of the epitomes of his career, I think. Just from it's been building and building and building, and now it's like, wow, he's on his own without his master, George Lucas. And this series is about Ahsoka, getting a last lesson from Anakin and using that and becoming Ahsoka. Like, it's just, it's so meta. I love it.
Yeah. Okay. Now I agree that when Ezra was building his lightsaber and Hu Yang gave him that one top piece.
Yes!
Okay, that was okay.
That was
a good
piece.
Yes. It was a good fan moment, which I really liked. Okay, so that was a kind of a half of a woohoo yell out loud moment because Hu Yang said, "We've only made 2 of these."
Yeah.
Kanan has one and you have the other.
And it's so like Harry Potter.
Yeah.
With
the two sides of the same
Phoenix
coin.
feather.
Yes.
Like,
okay.
the Phoenix feather only gave two feathers, and one was to Harry Potter and the other was to Voldemort.
Yeah. So I take back the whole. There was no yell out loud moment. So there was that one yell out loud moment.
That was amazing.
Okay.
I love that so much.
Patty Hammond in the Sky chat says, "I screamed when Ezra was building his lightsaber."
Aww.
And I don't think it's a secret that Galaxy's Edge, Dog and Dar, the Den of Antiquities, is going to start selling Kanan's lightsaber.
Yeah.
We heard this from a cast member, and she didn't say, "Oh, keep this on the down low."
No. Yeah. So Kanan's lightsaber's coming.
Yeah.
Woo. Ooh, Dan the Man says, "Ahsoka is a series I can rewatch multiple times throughout the year. It is very deep. There's a lot you can get from these episodes." And we're going to even go into it more because we got Easter eggs and we got music
so much
musical references.
Now, leading up to this conversation right here, we were speculating. What do you think is going to happen by the finale? Now, do you want to go over your speculations and my speculations, and did they actually happen?
Let's start out with one of yours.
Okay. I really knew that we were going to lose a main character, and we did, Morgan Elsbeth, and I strongly believe that Baylan was going to kill Shin Hati in order to save Ahsoka, because remember in the very beginning, Baylan was saying it'll be a shame to kill a Jedi because there's so few of them out there, and Baylan really appreciates her mastery of the Force and what she's become. And I really thought we were going to lose 2 characters, and Shin was going to be one of them, which didn't happen. And I thought almost that we were going to lose Hu Yang, but for a character with so much past,
yeah, you don't want to lose.
Yeah, we can't lose him. But I didn't see the demise of Morgan Elsbeth.
No, just a little bit when the witches made her another 4th witch.
Yeah,
but yeah.
So my speculation there that we were going to lose Shin, that didn't happen.
I had a speculation that they would all remain in this other galaxy because of the sequel trilogy. And like, if everything comes back to the Star Wars galaxy that we know, then we're locked into this somehow Palpatine return timeline and the sequel trilogy timeline and Luke creating his Jedi Academy timeline.
Okay, but they do interconnect because remember, we see the Ghost and the Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, that's true.
Yes.
Well, but the Ghost belongs to Hera, who's still over there.
Right, but that doesn't mean that we're going to see every single character in every single movie or TV show.
Right.
Who knows that
I know.
Sabine and Chopper may have been on the Ghost, but it wasn't their movie. so we're not going to focus on them.
I'm not saying that a movie should focus on characters we know from here. I'm saying that their timelines and their futures are kind of they're beholden to what we've seen in the sequel trilogy right now.
Right, but just because we only see the point of view of Rey and her group, we're not seeing the point of view of another group, because things are happening in parallel all the time. Just because they're off screen doesn't mean they're not happening.
Okay.
So we could see, so Ahsoka and Sabine, or Ahsoka and Chopper, or we know Chopper is with Hera, so maybe Sabine and Ahsoka are off doing something else on a little side
saving
mission.
The galaxy.
Maybe they're saving the galaxy, but they're not within Rey's storyline, so we're not going to have to focus on them. Because imagine if they did do a movie where you're going to focus on everyone's point of view. It would be a huge. That's kind of like what Clone Wars did. It was a huge story, and you had a whole lot of point of views. But then they brought it back with Rebels when you have the point of view of just that one Spectre family.
Okay.
So just once again, because we don't see them doesn't mean they're not out there. So anything could happen with these characters. And we do hear Ahsoka in The Rise of Skywalker. That doesn't mean she's dead.
Right.
We'll know. We'll know when the Mandoverse movie comes to a theater near you sometime in 2029.
Yes. Was there any other speculations you had?
Yeah. Okay. I thought we were going to get a whole Rebels reunion.
Oh.
With Zeb. We know Zeb's out there. I thought we were going to get that reunion that we see in Sabine's mural.
Right.
I thought we were going to get that moment, but instead of Kanan, we were going to have Jason.
Oh, that would be cute.
Yeah. So that's another speculation I had, because they made a big deal about this mural traveling to conventions, putting it in a lot of the promos. I thought, okay, this has got to tie everything together.
Well, Patty Hammond has a speculation.
Oh, okay.
In the future, I want to see Ezra reuniting with Hondo.
Now that's a series. That is a series right there.
And Ezra needs to call himself Jabba the Hutt.
Orlando Calrissian.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Patty. That was funny.
So those are the speculations that I had.
Okay.
And none of them came true, except for losing a character, which wasn't Shin.
Right.
All right. So now let's talk about the Easter eggs.
Okay.
There's so many of them.
And now, after Easter eggs, we're going to get into some music cues.
Oh yeah, we got a lot of music talk. Now, one Easter egg I really loved is when Morgan says to Thrawn, "There is little the Jedi can do to stop us now." And Thrawn replies, "I've watched many an Imperial officer make the same assumption about the rebellion. Even I fell victim to the heroics of a single Jedi."
As seen in Star Wars Rebels finale.
Oh yeah. I just love the fact that Thrawn's like, yeah, I've seen many Imperial officers make that same stupid assumption, and they're nowhere to be seen right now. And I fell victim to Ezra. Oh, that Ezra and that Purgle.
That's right. Many arms encircling him, spelling his doom.
So I love that callback to Rebels. And if you don't know Rebels and you hear that, you're not thinking, wait a minute, that sounds confusing, because it's clear enough where you can get the whole meaning behind that exchange.
Yeah. I love that if you have put in the time and watched Star Wars Rebels, there are so many things in this series that really pay off.
Oh yeah.
For you.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. You can call that fan service.
Oh yeah, the music. We're going to talk about it.
Oh yeah.
Good stuff.
We talked about the blade of Talzin.
Yes.
But now let's talk about this double lightsaber whammy callback.
Okay.
Now, as Sabine is being choked out by the zombie death trooper, she reaches out with the Force, and she's attempting to grab her lightsaber. Now, this is very similar to when Luke was hanging upside down in the Wampa cave, and he's trying to use the Force to retrieve his lightsaber before the Wampa comes back, and the lightsaber rattles and rattles, and we saw that same thing with Sabine trying to grab her lightsaber.
Yeah.
We don't need to play this.
Oh, okay. I was gonna.
Okay, play this.
Yeah.
So very similar to this.
You all know that scene. Yeah.
All right. So I called it a double whammy because first we have that Luke analogy, that Luke moment, and then there's another Last Jedi moment where she grabs the lightsaber and she plunges it through the Death Trooper zombie's head, which is like what Kylo Ren did after Rey threw the lightsaber to Kylo, and he switches it on. It goes through the Praetorian Guard's head.
Yeah. His eye.
Yeah.
His eye.
Yeah. The fact that in the inside of the Death Trooper's helmet lights up green.
That was
not
cool.
from the magic, but from the lightsaber blade going through the skull.
Oh yeah, that was bad. Oh my gosh.
So I love that that moment right there because it didn't just call back to Luke, but it called back to Luke and to Kylo Ren.
I love that too.
Mm-hmm. Now another simple little callback were the TIE fighter pilots. They had the red lines going down their helmet the same way we see in The Force Awakens and the sequels.
Oh.
Now in Star Wars they had gray stripes, very subtle, but in the sequels they had the red stripes, and these TIE fighter pilots had the red stripes here.
Okay.
So that's one more step into the sequel era
Trilogy.
and
right.
I love this the tie-ins to the original trilogy, the prequels, and now the sequel trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Just those two little red lines excited me.
That's cool.
Yeah. Now, do we want to talk about the convor?
So maybe we should do that at the end when we're kind of unpacking the ending.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's do that at the end.
All right. So now we talked about my favorite thing in anything Star Wars or Marvel or anything. We talked about the Easter eggs. Now let's talk about the music.
Okay. And just this week, we got a couple articles with Kevin Kiner and his son and daughter, Sean Kiner and Deanna Kiner. And they worked together to write music for this Ahsoka series. And Kevin so there's articles on Screen Rant and yahoo.com. And I'm pulling some of this information from those articles. And some of this information is just stuff I gleaned from listening and musical things that I know. All right. So here, the main thing about this series is that Dave Filoni didn't want just a repetition of the character themes that Kiner created for Star Wars Rebels and things. He wanted the music to reflect that the characters have been progressing. So Kiner really credits his Sean and Deanna to helping him progress the characters, especially Ahsoka, through the music. So here's a quote. The Ahsoka theme has roots in Tales of the Jedi, and the kids came up with a variation of the Ahsoka theme and this is in the beginning of the end credits of Ahsoka, and it has this groove to it. The Ronin groove. It's her Ronin melody.
Whoa.
And this is an exact quote from the article. So
that was from Kevin Kiner.
Yes, this is Kevin Kiner. He's crediting his kids with coming up with some of these melodies here. So let's hear the end credits of Ahsoka and her Ronin theme. Oh, I've got to share this. Okay, so that's her theme. And there's various times that this plays in the Ahsoka series. One of the main times is when it plays, let's see. One of the main times it plays in episode 8 is when Ahsoka and Sabine are riding toward the ship on the Howlers. They're riding toward the castle. Storming the castle, if you will.
May the Force be with you.
Yeah. Hold on. You know what? Patty Hammond says in the Sky Chat, the music reminded me of the Mandalorian music. Yeah,
Hmm.
has that very Ronin lone gunslinger sound to it.
Hmm.
And I wonder if that was a direction from Dave Filoni where, okay, here's what we have from Joseph Shirley and from Ludwig Göransson. So make it kind of sound like it belongs in the same universe.
Huh. I don't know about that. To me, it did not remind me of The Mandalorian. So, I don't agree, but that's okay. That doesn't signify that we can't be friends. Okay, so another fun little musical cue that I loved in this episode in particular is, again, we have these zombie troopers, right? And there's a reference to a very classical piece of music called Dance Macabre by Camille Saint-Saëns. And this is a symphonic poem, which is music that tells a story, where death summons the dead from their graves to dance around at midnight on Halloween. And so if you hear some of this opening to Dance Macabre, it sounds like what we're hearing when the zombie troopers are reanimated by the Night Sisters. Are you ready for this?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Here is Dance Macabre. So that violin lick.
Yeah, for any of you Duran fans,
Yeah.
they just did a cover. Would you call it a cover? Or their own rendition of Dance Macabre?
Okay, so here is when the Night Sisters are reawakening. Is that awesome?
That's very awesome. Now, it's very, very Hitchcockian.
You can almost hear them go.
Now, have we heard those violins in any other theme?
Not here. No, not.
This is the
Are you
first
talking
time
about in Star Wars Rebels? Or
no, in AHSOKA, yes.
No.
Okay.
This is the very first time, and I immediately thought of Dance Macabre.
Oh yes, just the music range.
Yeah.
In AHSOKA is fantastic, and Kevin Kiner in these articles really does attribute the range to his kids.
Mm-hmm.
He says there's only so many interesting ideas I can come up with.
Yeah,
and I think that's true. That's how many ideas are when John Williams comes out with a new soundtrack. It's like how many ideas are in your head?
Yeah, it's really neat. Well,
hold on, Chris. Go to Patty Hammond. She's also saying that same music is used for a Sherlock Holmes audio series that Michael and I listened to.
Oh, fun. Okay. And also, Courtney is saying that the Addams Family is what Dance Macabre sounds like to me. Huh. Awesome.
Yeah, I never really associated violins with horror.
Oh, but I guess
Psycho, yes.
Psycho's all strings.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And even Jaws.
Yeah? Well, that's more the low brass.
Yeah.
And well, it is using the lower strings as well. So like the cello and the bass. Yeah. All right. So in these articles, the composers we learned are really drawn to Balin's theme, especially Sean Kiner, who says it was neat to be able to do that kind of piano sound in Star Wars. It's big, bombastic, but it's got a classicism to it. We use this Rachmaninoff voicing to play a variation of this melody called Dies Irae. Now, unpacking that sentence, Rachmaninoff is a composer that is known for, he had like giant fingers, and he would create these piano pieces that are like, according to pianists, it's the hardest music to play because he had big giant hands. And so like to recreate the music that Rachmaninoff composed for these piano concertos is like super hard. If you can do it, you're considered a master pianist.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and he's talking about this melody, Dies Irae, which is Da, 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 da. And this has been used. It's an ancient medieval thing that has been associated in film and storytelling with death and the end of things.
Wow.
So they play this in the orchestra with a heavy metal sensibility. So let's hear Balin's theme. Now, this is from Master and Apprentice when he and Shin are storming in the very first episode.
Yeah, they're storming that Republic.
They're storming the Republic.
Cruiser.
Cruiser. Now we're going to hear that here, and then we're going to see how Balin's theme has changed by the end of this series.
Okay.
Whoa, super cool, right?
I like how Thrawn is the organ.
Uh-huh.
And
yeah.
Balin is the piano.
Yes. Okay, so now, but we get to Balin's theme, and it plays in various places throughout, but now we're going to hear it at the very finale of episode 8. And you'll hear, and I want to know what you guys think of where Balin is going, where his story is going based on this theme and how it is revoiced. So now his piano notes are on the high end of the piano and not the low end, and it's very much more reflective.
Yeah, much slower.
Yeah, slower. There's almost, I don't know if I want to call it a hopeful tone to it. It feels still very melancholy.
Well, when we first heard the theme, he was charging through those corridors,
right,
cutting soldiers down. Now he's just looking out into the land going, okay, I've got the next chapter of my story is now beginning. So you're right. It is very reflective, and it demands that it's slower.
Yeah. Oh, Patty has a good, let's see. Patty has a comment. He is going to find something in those old tales that Huyang was telling Ahsoka when they were traveling. Yeah. I bet.
They better play back to those.
Yeah.
When Huyang was saying, "Oh yeah, I got many stories to tell," and Ahsoka's like, "Yeah, read me one of those stories."
Yeah.
Read me from the first book.
I love his theme so much, and I'm so sad that Ray Stevenson has passed away. This character is so compelling though. I hope they recast him so we can have his story play out, because this is such an intriguing character.
Yeah, I think they will recast him instead of doing digital makeup on another actor, just because it was just one series. Had Balin been in The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, and now Ahsoka, it'd be a little bit harder, but we've only seen him in 8 episodes, maybe 7. So I think we can recast him. A lot of people were fan casting Liev Schreiber.
Oh wow!
I can see that.
Like sadness, yet
very big guy.
Yeah, interesting.
Oh, so yeah, I would root for that.
Yeah, but hats off to Ray Stevenson.
He just got to really coif his hair like Balin. That's the only thing I ask.
Absolutely. All right, I just have a couple more things to share in the music, and they have to do with the Rebels Easter eggs. So you were saying you weren't jumping off your seat when you were watching this episode. Well, I was.
Asterisk, except for that Kanan shout out.
Okay. Well, I was, because the ending of this series is very much like the ending of Twilight of the Apprentice, which is the Star Wars Rebels Season 2 finale.
Okay.
And of course, our leaf blowers are going. Well,
they won't hear that.
Okay. All right. So the ending music here is a nod to the ending music in Twilight of the Apprentice. So I'm going to play part of that Twilight of the Apprentice for you guys and listen specifically to the music. Okay, so you hear that. Now let's hear Ahsoka when she sees Anakin at the end of Ahsoka episode 8. Come on. I'm gonna like cry. Oh my god, I love that. Okay. So then also at the end of this finale, the end credits did not start with that Ahsoka Ronin theme. Instead, they are mirroring again that season 2 finale, Twilight of the Apprentice from Star Wars Rebels. So here is the ending. This is the Rebels ending continued. Sorry, let me one more.
You just played that.
Okay. Oh, I got confused. Okay, here's the Rebels ending continued. Okay. Here's the Ahsoka end credits in the finale.
Oh yeah, that's right there. It's right there.
Isn't that so awesome? So I was like listening to the credits going, oh my god, it's like the finale. And I've like listened to that finale of Twilight of the Apprentice so many times. It's on your music streaming services. You can go listen to it. It's called It's Over Now, that track. So go listen to that. And then compare it when we finally get volume 2 of Ahsoka, the music coming out. I can't wait.
You can call this fan service, or you can call it this. That's just the way this story is going to play out. Many ways to call it.
Yeah. But it's interesting how, even the visuals right now, the visuals to Twilight of the Apprentice, they're kind of wrapping up each story, showing where each person is. That's exactly what happens at the end of this Ahsoka series too.
Mm-hmm.
You get the Shin moment where she's holding her lightsaber up. You get Balin on that cliff with the statue of the
he's
father.
standing on the hand of
Yeah.
the father.
Yeah, so let's unpack this ending
Oh boy.
that we got.
All right.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
So now how did these statues end up on Peridia? You have the father, and the hand is out, and Balin standing on his hand.
Yes.
Next to him, to his right, is the son.
Yes. And then the daughter has been, I'm sure that statue, it's been destroyed.
The head is gone.
Yeah, so if you've seen the Mortis arc in Clone Wars, you know that the daughter basically gave her life, put her life essence into Ahsoka to help her live again.
Right, and then we see her come back as the Convor.
Yeah,
Moray.
Yeah.
So
Moray.
yeah, there's a lot right there.
Yeah. So what do we think's happening? So I think Balin is tapping into some of these old stories, like Patty wants some of these old stories that Huang has told them about probably the father, the son, and the daughter. And maybe the Mortis arc kind of happened like in this other galaxy. I don't know. Like, this is crazy. There's like so many things to unpack.
That's a good question right there. The Mortis. Where is Mortis?
Yeah. Well, I think it's a world between world of sorts.
Or is it in this other kind of galaxy?
Right.
Because it was not on the maps.
Right. It wasn't on the maps. Yeah, I think somehow they got sucked in, Ahsoka, Anakin, and Obi-Wan, right? Those are the three. They got sucked into maybe a world between world kind of portal that
dumped them off.
Dumped them into Mortis.
And that's in the same galaxy as Peridia.
Possibly. So how are Ahsoka and what's her name going to get back to the main galaxy? So how are Ahsoka and Sabine going to get back to the main galaxy? Well, Ahsoka sees the Convor, and the Convor has been in the world between worlds. So I feel like they're going to use the world between worlds to get back, because the Purgles ain't coming back to their area anytime soon.
Yeah.
No.
They know it's good for them.
Yeah. So that would be my speculation, is that somehow they're going to interface with Balin, and Balin might have control of, he was standing on the father. So Balin might be kind of looking to embody the father somehow, which isn't he kind of both darkness and light together?
The father?
Yeah.
Oh, he's everything.
Yeah.
He's kind of like Bendu in a way.
Right. And that's how Balin was acting this whole series, honestly. Like, he wasn't all dark. He wasn't all light. He was kind of in between.
He was a mercenary.
Yeah.
So he was going to do whatever you paid him to do.
Patty thinks they are going to hop through a portal that Balin finds. Yeah. I'm with you, Patty.
So I think you're right that Moray is going to lead them to that portal.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm excited. Oh. Now, what about Shin? Yeah.
Shin, she's going to form her own army with those bandits.
Yeah. And she's going to lead them, because that's her calling. She just wants power in some way. Mm-hmm. Right.
But Balin is stuck there. So Balin might come back and say, all right, so Shin, you're going to work under me, and the rest of the bandits will work under you. That's the hierarchy. Mm-hmm. And Shin's going to say, why don't you just go to sleep, but keep your eyes open if you know what's good for you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, one of the things I loved about the ending, again, is a Thrawn moment. Oh, I love Thrawn so much. He did such a good job. I love his red eyes. And I feel like, this whole series, Star Wars, is a lot based on samurai and things like that. It's never explicitly stated, but it's in the clothing. It's in the mannerisms. It's in how they set certain scenes. Well, Thrawn says to Ahsoka, I know you because I knew your master. One wonders just how similar you might become. Perhaps this is where a Ronin such as you belongs. Today's victory is mine for the Empire. So he calls out the word Ronin, which is a term based in samurai. And a Ronin in samurai is a samurai that doesn't have a master. right? Or
Yeah.
they run.
They roam.
They
on
roam
their
wild.
own.
They roam on their own. They don't have like a clan.
Yeah.
Or
they have no master.
any kind of belonging.
Yeah. So we saw Thrawn and Anakin together in Thrawn Alliances.
Yes.
So now we need to see more of that.
The book.
The book. To see Thrawn and Anakin together. Oh.
And Vader. So that book features both Thrawn and Anakin when Thrawn is younger, and then Thrawn and Vader when Thrawn has become a Grand Admiral.
Yeah, so it really flips the timelines.
Or he might be an admiral at that point, not Grand, but still.
But still, that's
yeah.
Oh, we need to revisit that.
Yeah.
And don't they visit Batu?
Yes, they do.
Mm-hmm.
They visit.
So if you go to Galaxy's
twice.
Edge, you go to Oga's Cantina, you see the blaster marks on the walls. Like that happened during Thrawn Alliances.
So cool.
Yeah. All right, we need Thrawn Alliances. That needs to be adapted into a show. You know what? Don't take little bits and pieces. Just adapt the whole thing. But that's like what, book 2?
I believe so. Of the one of the Thrawn trilogies. There's like 6 books.
Just adapt that one.
But Thrawn Alliances, like honestly, if you're gonna read one Thrawn novel, read that one. That's my suggestion.
I think that's the only one I did read.
Yeah. All right. So are we satisfied with this episode, with this series?
Yes. And I know going into this, I was a little apprehensive on the episode because it didn't meet my expectations. That doesn't mean it's good or bad, but everyone walks into things with their own expectations. It was a little bit slower than I thought it was going to be, but it was world building.
Yeah.
And it has got a huge world to build. So in the end, once I let it all seep in and really analyze it, it's like, okay, yes, now I'm very satisfied because this was the end of a chapter.
Oh yeah. Did our discussion help you too?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Most definitely. Because we just watched it last night. We watched it again this morning. So you need to watch something like this a couple of times. Yeah. Just to appreciate all the story beats.
The story beats, the music, the visuals, everything that's happening. There was some great Easter eggs just alone in the sound effects.
Always, yeah.
Yeah.
Always, yeah. But the depressing thing at the end, knowing was that we're not going to see the outcome of this whole story until the Mandoverse movie. Who knows when that'll be?
Right.
Yeah. And one more thing, since the Skeleton Crew show, this takes place in the same time frame, we may see some characters from AHSOKA pop into that show.
Oh, maybe Ezra?
Possibly. I know they've done that kind of thing before, where characters from other series like Mandalorian will pop in Boba Fett and take over for a couple of episodes and come right back again. I doubt they'll do that because I'm sure they've learned from that. Now, Skeleton Crew was rumored to be released on Disney Plus in December of this year, but that seems very highly unlikely now.
Yeah.
Very highly unlikely.
Okay. Wow.
So we may see these characters before we see the Mandoverse movie.
Okay. Well, that's exciting. Yeah, I felt very satisfied with this series. There's so much to unpack, so many mythological references and things, and I'm so nerdy about it. Like I just love nerding out about this and the music and everything. And I feel like not only did we get a lot of closure, but we got new beginnings to many of their stories. Like we were just talking about Balin, we're talking about Shin. Like we're seeing where they might be headed next.
Oh yeah, this is just the end of this chapter, not the end of the story.
Yeah. And now these 3 Dathomir witches are arriving on Dathomir, which is the seat of their power. We were watching a Star Wars Rebels episode, remember, where they, like Mother Talzin could only exist in this one cave in Dathomir even after she died because there was power there for the witches to claim. So once these witches gain their power, I think they're going to be like, Thrawn, yeah, you gone. Like they're going to have a battle. In my opinion.
And those mother witches, they were very smart. Yeah, let's get back to Dathomir, Thrawn. Don't worry. Once we get back there, you're gonna be safe.
Oh yeah.
Even though you destroyed our altar on Peridia, don't worry. When we get back to Dathomir, you'll be okay. All right.
Yeah.
So just watch your back. What'd you say? Nothing. I said we'll be back.
Nothing. Oh, that dirty look said it.
Yeah. That they are not on the same side.
The head witch said when Thrawn was like, "Yeah, destroy destroy the thing.
Yeah.
No.
And you left Morgan Elsbeth. We just made her into a Night Witch. Why did we go through all that trouble of making her into a Night Sister when you're just gonna leave her behind? Yeah, they ain't happy. They never upset a witch.
Although that said, if Thrawn and the witches work together, I wonder what kind of galaxy the Star Wars galaxy will become.
Oh, they ain't working together.
I know they're not, but like, I don't think they are.
Wrath has no fury, like a scorned Night Sister witch.
Yeah. Just ask Ventress. Yeah. Oh my
All
God.
right. So, Skywalkers, what do you think? Tell us your thoughts on the Ahsoka series or season finale, and tell us what you thought about our comments and analogies.
For the Empire.
For you Ahsokites.
Patty was hoping for something more and watched all the credits and nothing.
Yeah, well, the screen shrunk down,
yeah,
which means don't stop that. All right, so there you have it, everyone. Thank you for watching, and once again, let us know what you think.
Yeah.
So there you have it. So we're gonna end this live stream, but we're gonna keep on recording.
Well, do we have something to do?
Yeah, it's some ADR.
ADR, okay. All right. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Now, watching us in the middle of the day.
Do we want to end it or keep recording so we can with the different background, so that we can
keep recording? No, go back to the other.
Oh.
So let's end the live stream.
Okay. All right. Bye, guys.